Live from the studio at African Utility Week, I'm Rose Bundock and I'm joined now by Eviane Gao, General Manager at Shenzhen Star Equipment.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Obviously you're based in Shenzhen,
Yes.
in China. I wonder if we can start by you giving us an idea of what the metering landscape is like in China at the moment.
Okay, the landscape of in China, I could say, is very attractive for all Chinese suppliers. In 2014, last year, the annual quantity purchased by state grid, China state grid, is up to 19 million units last year. And this year, in 2015, the quantity will be up to 60 million units. So I can say that in China, the consumption of energy meters is the biggest one in the world.
So has the government set a deadline for utilities to deploy meters?
I think because you know that the population in China is huge one. So I think in the following 5 years to 10 years, our government will replace the old meters with all the smart meters every year with big quantity.
And is the smart meter part of a bigger sort of smart grid deployment?
Yes. The technology of smart meters in China nowadays is PLC. We call it, that is refers to power line carrier wave, PLC meters, which is deployed by the users in China. Now we are using the smart energy meters.
Okay, and
Yes.
do you expect, I know you also produce smart water meters, do you expect in China will start a rollout of smart water meters on a similar scale?
I suppose so, because I'm more familiar with the smart energy meters. But water meters is also under the progress. We'll change the mechanical. Previously, the people in China using the mechanical water meters. Nowadays, also the government is considering to replace the mechanical water meter with the electronic or smart electronic water meters.
Okay.
Yes.
And the producers, or the companies that are deploying and installing the meters, are they Chinese companies or is it a mixture of international and Chinese?
Well, I can say that it's Chinese companies. We have a lot of suppliers in China. I remember last year, from the list on the suppliers for the state grid on the field of energy meters, it up to 100 Chinese suppliers of energy meters. And this year, for the last big tender, the quantity is in the 40 million units. The supplies is up to 60.
Okay.
Yes, all of them are Chinese.
And they are smart, is it a mixture of smart prepaid and postpaid?
No, in China we do not use prepaid meter or postpaid.
Is that a cultural thing? Is it a cultural thing to not want to pay?
Yes, it's
first?
cultural thing. Yeah, people are more familiar. People get used to use the postpaid meters. So the government deploy just postpaid meters, not prepaid. Prepaid meters is only used in small scale, like apartment, hotel, etc. Not in large scale.
Okay. And in terms of the functionality of those meters, what does the government want? Do they want demand response? Do they want time of use tariffs? What do they foresee they're going to use the meters for?
Mm-hmm. The functions of the smart meters increase a lot. I could say that we have a multi-tariff, different time, different price. Multi-tariff meters, load control, and demand reading, etc. A lot of functions.
And can I ask you about how consumers, utility customers, have actually responded to smart meters?
I think at the very beginning, the consumers will think, oh, smart meters run a little fast. Actually, it's not, because previously they used the mechanical meters. If they use the mechanical meters, they use a long time, it will run slowly. But actually, the smart energy meter with very high accuracy, at least it's up to class 1 or class 2 with high accuracy. So nowadays, I think the consumer could accept the smart meters, which is also very convenient for them. Yes.
And are people open to changing their energy behaviour
Yeah.
to try and reduce their consumption?
Yeah.
Do you think the Chinese consumer is engaged to look on their perhaps web page and find out how much electricity they used yesterday or how much their neighbour is using? Those kind of devices that utilities around the world are deploying
Yeah.
to try and engage the consumer in how much they're using and try and reduce their
Exactly.
consumption. What's it like in China?
We are able to log on the Chinese government's website. Every consumer, they have an account, and we can enter into our account to see the details each month. What's your each month? How many energy you consumed this month or last month, even last year? They will give you a chart to make a comparison, etc., which is very convenient.
Okay. So do you foresee that might be, you might see like daily usage? Some countries are deploying like a home energy monitor. So you can actually see, oh yes, well right now I've got the TV on and it's using that amount. Is there any of that technology?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think maybe in future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the kind of smart home, you know, what's going on in the house? Will the smart meter be used to try and control perhaps the washing machine or the smart fridge?
Nowadays, most of the meters they are procured by our state grid. It's smart meters, but frankly speaking, it's not that smart. Like you said, it's not a smart home to control every single electronic device in your house. But this is the tendency, or this is the target of our government, I think.
And are those meters, do they have that potential to be used in that way?
Yes.
So in some ways the utility is seeing the benefits for themselves as opposed to the consumer, would you say? Does the consumer get much benefit from the smart meter in
I
China?
think, yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And obviously you've come here to African Utility Week to explore opportunities in Africa.
Yes.
You mentioned you have a number of, well, a large number of meters already online here. Can you just tell us a bit about how many, you mentioned, was it 200,000 meters in Africa of your companies?
Yeah, actually, since the foundation of our company, 1993, we have more than 20 years experience in all countries. We have exported to more than 70 countries worldwide, and including African countries. Up till now, I can say that we have installed more than 2 million units of energy meters in different African countries.
Right,
but
2 million, pretty sizable. So
Yes.
you mentioned you work with TANESCO in Tanzania, Kenya Power.
Kenya Power in Kenya, etc.
And those are large-scale rollouts? Or
Yes.
Are those,
Yes.
yeah. And what's been your experience with those rollouts? Have they been well received by consumers there?
Yes, we supply the energy meters for these years. I can say that generally speaking, they are satisfactory with the performances of our meters. Not only in Tanzania, Kenya, but also in Mozambique or some other countries in North Africa.
Yeah, because you're quite a sort of exporting company.
Yeah, exporting.
Where else do you see is the really hot markets at the moment?
Asian countries, like Vienna, Indonesia, Malaysia, Asian countries, also a big quantity market, as well as Latin America. Our company could be regarded as the top one sales among the Chinese manufacturers in Latin America, and the performance is perfect. Yeah, and now we are also penetrating the market in European countries, which is good for us.
Which European countries?
Like Poland, like Spain, Italy, France, etc.
And what technologies are you using in those countries?
As I said, different countries they have different requirements on the technology. Some countries we will use GPRS, some are PLC or Prime, G3, etc. Yes.
And for example, Latin America and Asia Pacific, is it prepaid that utilities primarily want?
In Asia countries, some countries need big quantity of prepaid keypad prepayment meters. But in Latin America, it's quite different because in some countries, the people or the government, they do not accept the concept of the prepaid. In their opinion, it's illegal or something. It's not human being friendly, so they cannot accept the prepayment meter. They are using post-pay, but meters are different. They have Bolton type meters or socket meters.
What challenges do you face as an exporter of, or as a manufacturer who wants to enter new markets?
We are encountering a lot of challenges when exporting or penetrating different markets. But many competition, to be frank, is from China. We have a lot of Chinese competitors and players in different markets. So could be a price war, but things is that we attach great importance to the quality. In our company, the principle is that quality should be the priority. Good quality control is one of the advantage of why we survive so long in this market, why we have received so good reputation worldwide, good quality.
So every year, are you seeing more Chinese meter manufacturers coming?
Yes, exactly. Every year maybe new like 50 to 100 numbers of new small manufacturer set up or founded.
And targeting similar markets with what, prepaid, smart prepaid, postpaid?
Yes.
And you mentioned, I mean, do your products have any other features that kind of make them stand out?
To make them...
What's the kind of unique selling point, I suppose, of your products?
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have been in the market for so long time, so we know that the utilities request what kind of meters they need, and we are familiar with the technical specification. So when we provide our samples, we will make sure that we are able to 100% comply with the specification. That is very important. First of all, technically, you should pass all kinds of tests. Secondly, commercially, you need to provide the competitive price. Maybe not the lowest one, but should be competitive enough to secure that you are able to be listed on the candidate for this for the tender. Thirdly, we have our good advantage on the quality control, and good sales record, good reputation, and we are able to deliver our meters very quickly. That is to control the lead time. We try every ways to control the lead time, which is also very important for utility. They need meters urgently. You cannot deliver them like 3 months later, 4 months later, no.
Do you do any local assembly?
Yes, we do in different countries because of the localization in different countries. We have no other choice but to comply with the request. So we will have joint venture with some partners locally to set up assembling line. So we export our meters not in complete mode, but in SKD, semi-knockdown products.
Okay, which countries specifically impose that?
You mean in Africa or in other countries?
Yeah, worldwide.
For instance, in Africa, we set up our assembly line in Mozambique.
Okay. Great, well, it's very interesting. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
That's all from the studio Africa Utility Week. Thanks for watching.